right now, if you had them prepare themselves in whatever way they would have to prepare themselves to come to battle, and I bet what I have, everything I have, that meatloaf.
Are there any good white people in the world?
There may be, but it doesn't matter. And you know why? No matter how good an individual white person may be, they have an obligation to look out for the best interests of the white.
And for the first time, there was a new school of thought that was chemically induced that made people question the very society they lived in. By 1960, the President of the United States was only 42 years old. Can you imagine? DMX is older than that. And he was going to usher in a new era of peace. He was going to avoid the Cold War. He was going to end segregation. And they blew his brains out in front of everyone in Dallas. This country was never the same.
I seen this dude screaming, crying, saying, "You fuckers did it right now. I don't want to hear nothing from you self-righteous libs, Democrats. We're coming for you." Knowing damn well the person that did it, y'all know what it is. Betty White.
We need to talk about this wild twist. Charlie Kirk's fans are actually trying to pin the blame on black and brown folks, just because nobody's shedding tears for him. This is the same man who once said black people were better off before civil rights, since crime was supposedly lower back then. Shocking, right?
It just shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil, but what happened? Something changed. They committed less crimes.
Maybe they were afraid. I mean, 4,000 black men, women, and children were in violent lynch mobs.
If that's your explanation, but I guess
racial terror permeated American culture for hundreds of years.
Black America is worse than it has been
that affected
in the last 80 years.
The generational psyche of an entire group of people?
Well, I'm sure it did. I'm not discounting that.
And now, the same crowd that mocked Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice, George Floyd, and so many other black lives taken too soon, suddenly wants compassion. The hypocrisy is loud and nasty. What's even messier is how black celebrities are chiming in. Some are trying to keep it cute and diplomatic, but others are coming straight with it. No sympathy at all for Charlie Kirk. 50 Cent even dropped a post so reckless that the pressure forced him to snatch it down. Now here's where it gets even crazier. Some of Charlie's own followers are turning on him and making death threats. Can you believe that? Meanwhile, those same voices had nothing to say about the victims of the Colorado school shooting that went down just hours after Charlie was shot. The silence is deafening. Amanda Seales stepped in and made it crystal clear. She said straight up she has no empathy for Charlie. No sugarcoating, just raw honesty. But then Dr. Umar came through trying to play mediator, warning black folks not to celebrate Kirk's downfall. His message? Don't give America another excuse to twist the narrative against us. So what do these reactions really mean? Is this just celebs chasing shock value, or is it exposing the ugly truth of how divided this country really is? That's the question everybody's buzzing about right now. And let's get into the mess, because the first big star to weigh in was none other than 50 Cent.
You had a daughter and she was 10 and she got... And she was gonna give birth and she would, and she was gonna give birth and she was gonna live. Would you want her to go through that and carry her baby?
That's awfully graphic.
But it's a real life scenario that happens to many people.
The answer is yes, the baby would be delivered.
Oh, okay, great. So that's...
In true 50 style, he skipped the sympathy, skipped the polished PR talk, and went straight for the jugular. He actually posted a screenshot of the moment Charlie was shot, then captioned it. "Want to know how I feel about this? I don't know. But I do know it's a good time to shut the F up. And you already know that one post sent Kirk's supporters into a frenzy. The internet exploded after 50's post. He got slammed as heartless, insensitive, and straight up accused of celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Kirk's fans flooded the comments, declaring 50 is finished and demanding he be canceled for good. Some even crossed the line, firing off threats like, "Hope you are next." The heat must have gotten to him, because that post didn't last long. 50 quietly deleted it just hours later. But let's be real, not everyone thought 50 was in the wrong. Plenty of folks jumped to his defense, reminding everyone that Charlie Kirk built his entire career off minimizing black pain. He pushed racist conspiracy theories and mocked black victims of police brutality for years, so people are like, why should we now cry for a man who never had empathy for us? One fan broke it down bluntly. I'm not feeling no sympathy for someone who would call me every slur in the book, sorry bookie. Another blasted the hypocrisy, saying, all this outrage is performative nonsense. But where's the same energy for parents losing their kids in school shootings? And just when things were already heated, here comes DL Hughley, and you already know he wasn't about to hold back.
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational.
DL Hughley came in swinging. First, he reposted a TikTok that dragged Charlie for his own words, reminding everyone that Charlie once said it was worth it to have some shooting victims here and there if it meant keeping his guns. Yes, that's a direct quote from Charlie himself. He really said those lives were worth the price. Shocking, right?
Bill Clinton in the 1990s, it was all about empathy and sympathy. I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage, But
DL didn't stop there. Next, he blasted Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, who got up in front of Congress asking for prayers for Charlie and his family.
I have watched any number of people of all kinds of stripes, people, theologians, politicians, people who consider themselves activists, all kinds of people on the conservative right talk about empathy, and they talked about empathy as if it was a pariah, empathy as if it was a moral failing, and they referred to empathy as a weakness. And it's interesting that they would call themselves Christian and be anti-empathy, because that is the tenet, a core tenet of Christianity. So that is being a Christian without the empathy is like being a sushi chef without the fish. But empathy is apparently a weakness to a lot of people, and you never know. But I've always believed, and hold this now, that empathy is quintessentially human. Human. It is the core of humanity. It certainly is the core of Christianity, if you call yourself Christ-like. But how is it that you can despise empathy, that you think it is a weakness, that you think that people are susceptible to it, like it's the cold or the flu, and that you despise empathy, but would like it when someone who you love is hurt or killed? We can either decide to be human and empathic, whether we relate to, like, or understand a person or not. But in America, nothing is more American. Nothing is more quintessentially who we are than violence against people we disagree with, and then having a lack of empathy when we don't relate to them, when we don't like them, when they don't look like us. I don't know how you can be a Christian nation and call yourself a Christian nation and extol the virtues of Christianity, but only be empathic when they look like you. That's not Christianity. That's not humanity. That's tribalism.
DL called out the hypocrisy immediately. Where was the same compassion when kids were dying in school shootings? In his caption, DL demanded answers. Has Mike Johnson done this for victims of school shootings? Did he do this for Congresswoman Hortman and her husband Mark, who were unalived? And when the news broke that Trump ordered U.S. flags to be flown at half-mast for Charlie Kirk, DL lost it all over again, pointing out how the same man told flags lowered for the Pope's passing to be raised back up. The double standard had him fuming, and honestly, a lot of people agreed. DL didn't let up. He kept pressing the hypocrisy button hard. He reminded folks that America never lowered flags for innocent children lost to school shootings. They didn't lower them for Congresswoman Hortman and her husband either. Then he hit the people with the real question: is this a tragic event? Yes. But does it deserve that level of ceremony? You already know the answer, and DL wasn't done dragging. He called out how Charlie Kirk and his crew always mocked empathy, claiming it was a weakness. Charlie even said himself that he couldn't stand the word empathy and called it a made-up term. But now his followers are demanding empathy for him. The irony had DL shaking his head. Then he really turned up the heat. dropping a video compilation labeled Hate and Bigotry, Charlie Kirk's Real Legacy, but he saved the hardest punches for last. DL posted clips of Charlie denying George Floyd was killed by police and even bragging that he wanted Derek Chauvin released from prison. And just when people thought DL was done, he teased the biggest bombshell, hinting at whispers that Charlie might have been taken out by the very same people he spent his career defending. Now that's the kind of plot twist nobody saw coming. DL kept it blunt. He reminded everyone that when Trump was shot, the finger pointing went wild. Immediately, it was radical, left this, and liberal extremists that. But when the smoke cleared, it turned out the shooter was from Trump's own side. DL captioned it with a slick line. Remember, when you point a finger at someone, there are 3 fingers pointing back at you. Facts. Now let's be real. DL wasn't cheering for violence. He was dissecting the optics, exposing how America reacts differently depending on who pulls the trigger and who the victim is. Still, Kirk's supporters were fuming. They accused Hughley of deflecting, of making excuses for the shooter, and of disrespecting Charlie's tragedy. But here's the flip side. Tons of people agreed with him. They said these conservatives are desperate to spin this into a race war, and the gag is, black folks aren't even biting. They're minding their own business and refusing to play along, which is driving Kirk's crowd even crazier. And DL isn't the only one under fire. Amanda Sales is catching heat too after she made it crystal clear she wasn't about to force empathy for Charlie Kirk. During a live Instagram chat, when people flooded her comments asking her to show compassion, Amanda clapped back and reminded them Charlie himself didn't believe in empathy. She flipped their argument right on its head, and that left his fans steaming.
I can't have empathy for someone like Charlie Kirk. First of all, Charlie Kirk don't believe in empathy. He said it's a bad thing. He said it's some new age made up shit. He also said people gotta be sacrificed in order to protect guns. If he was saying that while fighting for reparations, I may have a little bit of empathy. But this white on white violence, he died? Damn, B. Life comes at you fast. I can't have empathy for someone like Charlie Kirk because I cannot be in his shoes. I have no frame of reference for that. I have no cognizance for that. There literally is nothing about his existence that I can relate to.
Amanda doubled down and broke it all the way down. She said she can't have empathy for someone like Charlie because she literally cannot put herself in his shoes. There's nothing about his life, his privilege, or his mindset that she can relate to. And that's when the attack dogs came out. Charlie's fanboys swarmed Amanda hard, calling her every name in the book. And it wasn't just white conservatives. Go scroll X, and you'll see plenty of black men piling on too, calling Amanda scum, the B word, idiot, sociopath, piece of ish, and every other insult imaginable. Meanwhile, some white users were ranting that she should be denaturalized, deported, and even screaming about so-called black fatigue. The hate was off the charts. But here's the twist. Amanda wasn't standing alone. She had a wave of defenders backing her up. People pointed right back to Charlie Kirk's record of anti-black racist rhetoric and said Amanda was never celebrating his death. She was simply refusing to play fake and show sympathy for a man whose public career caused so much harm and division. One fan put it perfectly. Nowhere in there did she celebrate his death. Nowhere in there did she espouse hate. She said she doesn't have empathy for him. Meanwhile, he's the one who said empathy is a dangerous new age word. Talk about flipping the script.
So, do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years?
Too many.
Okay. Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm gonna give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Charlie himself said it. He didn't believe in empathy, didn't want it, and thought it was fake. So why is everybody suddenly demanding it for him now? One commenter summed it up perfectly. Is it sad he was killed? Yes, but does everyone have to care? Number. He spread hate and lies every chance he got, and now that he's gone, we're supposed to erase all that and crown him a saint? I think not. And this fan wasn't holding back either. I will not celebrate his death, but I will not be mourning either. That doesn't make me evil or hateful in the slightest. Another person came through showing Amanda major love. She's too real. Now I understand why the media is not on her side. They didn't like Malcolm X either until I started paying attention. Salute to this woman from across the world. She's realer and braver than your fave rapper, and even your fave rapper's fave rapper. But hold up. We can't stop here, because while Amanda was getting all this heat and praise, Dr. Umar Johnson took a totally different route. People expected him to stand with Amanda, but nope, he flipped it. Umar decided to lecture black folks instead, warning that the memes and jokes about Charlie Kirk's assassination had gone too far and crossed a serious line. Dr. Umar Johnson took to Instagram with a long statement, and it instantly split the room. He wrote, "While I did not agree with Mr. Kirk's rhetoric and considered him to be an anti-black bigot, I will never rejoice at the loss of life of anyone who hasn't directly participated in the unaliving of a member of the black African race. I am ashamed to see members of my community celebrating this situation."
I can't stand the word empathy. Actually, I think empathy is a made-up new age term that it does a lot of damage, but
he doubled down, adding, "I will never ask you to mourn the loss of an enemy of our race, but to celebrate an unaliving is completely unacceptable. We know all too well that the greatest victims of political assassinations in this country have been our own people. Stop laughing at the misfortunes of others and get prepared. Political assassinations have returned to the United States of America, courtesy of the deep state." But here's the thing, Umar's followers weren't buying it.
My question to somebody who I know, because I don't know you.
Some future president.
Donald Trump Jr. Yeah, Donald Trump Jr. My question is, how do you support your father for the things that he said, such as he believes that you should grab women by the...
He didn't say that. I want to say something. I want to say something. Let me do it.
That's a ridiculous question, first and foremost. Because I'm sure you've never said anything bad.
Are you mad? Are you mad? But you just called liberal.
The backlash came quick, with people accusing him of trying to soften the blow and acting all preachy while the community was still processing. One critic clapped back under his post. "I wonder if you would have written this if they shot you." That single comment had Umar's entire comment section on fire. Real talk. Lots of folks pointed out nobody's out here celebrating. People just ain't mourning, they're tired. Then one fan went full extra, writing 50 lashes for you, Dr. Umar, after his post, "Madness on X." You think any non-black would post that same energy for him? Come on, stop giving your power away to energy suckers and keyboard clowns who live for chaos. Here's the cold, ugly truth. Whoever pulled this hit got exactly what they wanted. More division, more noise, more distraction. The country is split wider than ever. And these reactions show how easy it is to weaponize violence to pit celebrities, politicians, and everyday folks against each other. Outrage sells, clicks count, and the act did exactly what it was designed to do. So what's your take on 50, Umar, Amanda, and everybody else blowing up online? Are we capable of talking about the bigger picture, or are we too fractured to notice we're puppets in someone else's show? Think about it and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, share this vid, and leave a comment. I'll catch you on the next one.